Hey, before we dive in, let me tell you something that could literally save your life. You know those people who seem nice on the surface but leave you feeling drained, used, and somehow lighter in the wallet? Yeah, we're about to expose them all. In the next few minutes, you'll discover 6 types of requests that are major red flags. And trust me, the ancient Stoics knew about these energy vampires way before we did. What's up, everyone? Today we're diving deep into something that affects every single one of us. You know that gut feeling you get when someone's trying to take advantage of you? Well, that feeling exists for a reason. We're going to break down 6 specific requests that should make your internal alarm system go absolutely crazy. And the best part? We're backing this up with timeless Stoic wisdom that's been proven right for over 2,000 years. Red flag number 1. Can you keep a secret? Let's start with something that might seem innocent, but is actually one of the most manipulative tactics out there. When someone comes to you with the phrase, "Can you keep a secret?" they're not just asking for your discretion, they're trying to make you complicit in something. Think about it. Why would someone need to swear you to secrecy before even telling you what's going on? The Stoics taught us that virtue is the only good, and anything that requires secrecy usually goes against this fundamental principle. Here's the real kicker. These people aren't just asking you to keep information private, they're actually setting up a power dynamic where they have leverage over you. They're creating a situation where you become part of whatever scheme or drama they're involved in. What makes this especially dangerous is that it often comes from people we trust. It could be a coworker, a friend, or even a family member. They're counting on your loyalty to override your judgment. Remember what Marcus Aurelius said about truth and justice. He emphasized that nothing is more important than maintaining our integrity. When someone asks you to keep a secret, they're essentially asking you to compromise your integrity before you even know what's at stake. This type of request often comes with emotional manipulation. They might say things like, "I can only trust you," or "You're the only one who understands." These are classic manipulation tactics designed to bypass your rational thinking. The real danger isn't in the secret itself, it's in what comes after. Once you're sworn to secrecy, you become vulnerable to manipulation. You're now part of their inner circle, and they can use that position to ask for more favors. The Stoics were clear about one thing: our peace of mind comes from living transparently and honestly. Any request that goes against this principle is automatically suspect. What's even more concerning is how this type of request often escalates. Today, it's keeping a secret. Tomorrow, it might be covering up something serious or illegal. The worst part? Once you agree to keep one secret, it becomes harder to say no to the next one. It's a slippery slope that can lead to increasingly compromising situations. Modern psychology backs up what the Stoics knew intuitively. Secrets create cognitive load. They actually stress us out on a physiological level, affecting our mental and physical well-being. The solution? Develop a clear policy about secrets. Make it known that while you can be trusted with appropriate confidences, you won't participate in anything that requires deception or could harm others. Red flag number 2. I need to borrow money. Again. Now, this is where things get really interesting. We're not talking about legitimate emergencies here. We're talking about those people who seem to have a permanent hole in their pocket. The Stoics had a very clear perspective on material possessions and wealth. While they didn't condemn having money, they were very wary of becoming enslaved to it, either through excess or through debt. What makes this request particularly toxic is its recurring nature. It's never just one time, is it? It's a pattern of behavior that reveals a deeper issue with personal responsibility and financial management. These people often come with elaborate stories and promises. They'll swear they'll pay you back next week or when their next paycheck comes in. But here's the truth. If they haven't learned from their first financial crisis, they won't learn from their 5th. The real issue here isn't just about money, it's about responsibility and respect. When someone repeatedly asks to borrow money, they're showing a fundamental lack of respect for both their own financial well-being and yours. Seneca, who was actually one of Rome's wealthiest men, warned about the dangers of lending money to friends. He knew it could poison relationships and create unnecessary resentment. What makes this situation even more complicated is that these requests often come wrapped in emotion. They might bring up their children, their health, or other circumstances that make you feel guilty for considering a refusal. Here's something most people don't realize. When you keep lending money to someone who's financially irresponsible, you're actually enabling their behavior. You're becoming part of the problem, not the solution. The Stoics emphasize the importance of helping others, but they also stress the significance of teaching self-reliance. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is say no and help someone face the consequences of their actions. This kind of request often comes with subtle manipulation tactics. They might compare you to other friends who would help, or remind you of times they've helped you, even if those situations were much smaller or different. The psychological impact of these requests shouldn't be underestimated. They can create anxiety, stress, and resentment even in the strongest relationships. Modern financial experts and ancient Stoics agree on this. Mixing friendship and money usually leads to losing both. Red flag number 3. Just do this one thing for me. This red flag is particularly sneaky because it often starts small. But make no mistake, it's the beginning of a slippery slope that can lead to increasingly unreasonable demand. The key problem with this request is its vagueness. Notice how they don't specify what the one thing is until after you've already shown willingness to help. That's not an accident. It's a manipulation tactic. These requests often evolve into something much bigger than initially presented. What starts as just a quick favor turns into a significant time, energy, or resource commitment. The Stoics warned about the importance of maintaining boundaries and being intentional with our time and energy. Every time we say yes to something, saying no to something else. This type of request often comes from people who are skilled at making their problems seem like your responsibility. They're experts at transferring their obligations onto others. What makes this particularly dangerous is how it plays on our natural desire to be helpful. We want to be seen as good friends, reliable colleagues, or supportive family members. These people know this and use it against us. The request often comes with implied reciprocity. They'll hint at how they'll help you in the future. But notice how that future help never quite materializes. Here's what's really happening. They're testing your boundaries. Each successful request makes it easier for them to ask for more next time. The Stoics emphasize the importance of choosing our commitments carefully. Every yes should be deliberate and aligned with our values and capabilities. These requests often come with artificial urgency. They'll make it seem like everything will fall apart if you don't help right now. The psychological cost of these requests isn't just in the favor itself, it's in the precedent it sets. Once you become known as someone who can't say no, you'll attract more people who want to take advantage of that. The solution isn't to never help anyone. It's to be selective and intentional about when and how we offer our assistance. Red flag number 4. Don't tell anyone but. This red flag is particularly insidious because it often masquerades as trust and intimacy. When someone starts a sentence with, "Don't tell anyone," but they're not really sharing, they're involving you in gossip or drama. The Stoics were particularly clear about the destructive nature of gossip. Epictetus specifically warned against speaking ill of others, noting that it reveals more about the speaker than the subject of their words. What makes this request especially dangerous is how it creates false intimacy. The person sharing the gossip wants you to feel special, chosen, and trusted with privileged information. However, here's the truth that most people miss. If someone is willing to gossip with you, they're also willing to gossip about you. This is a universal principle that the Stoics understood well. These situations often put you in an impossible position. You're now holding information that you can't verify, can't act on, and can't ethically share with others, including the person being talked about. The psychological impact of being a gossip repository is significant. You're now carrying the weight of information that you didn't ask for and probably don't want to know. What's worse is how this type of request often comes with social pressure. If you refuse to participate, you might be labeled as no fun or not part of the group. The Stoics emphasize the importance of speaking only what is true, necessary, and kind. Gossip rarely meets any of these criteria, let alone all three. This request often comes from people who use information as currency in their social transactions. They collect and distribute secrets and rumors to maintain their social position. The real danger isn't just in the gossip itself, it's in how it changes your relationship with others. Once you become known as someone who participates in gossip, it changes how people see and trust you. These situations often escalate. What starts as seemingly harmless office gossip can turn into serious situations involving reputational damage or even legal issues. The solution is to establish a clear personal policy about gossip. Make it known that you don't participate in conversations about people who aren't present to defend themselves. Red flag number 5. I need your password. Personal information. In our hyper-connected world, this request has become increasingly common, but it's no less dangerous. When someone asks for your personal information or passwords, they're asking for the keys to your digital life. The Stoics taught the importance of maintaining control over what truly belongs to us. While they couldn't have predicted digital privacy, their principles about personal boundaries are more relevant than ever. What makes this request particularly dangerous is how it often comes from people we trust. It might be a family member, a partner, or a close friend who just needs to check something quickly. The problem isn't just about the immediate access, it's about the precedent it sets. Once someone has your password or personal information, you can't control how they use it or who they might share it with. These requests often come with seemingly logical explanations. They might need to check something important or help you with an account. But remember, legitimate organizations never ask for your full password. The psychological aspect of this request is complex. It plays on our trust and our desire to be helpful, while also potentially making us feel guilty for having boundaries. What's particularly concerning is how this type of request has evolved with technology. It's no longer just about email passwords. It's about banking information, social media accounts, and digital identities. The Stoics emphasize the importance of maintaining independence and control over our own choices. Giving someone your passwords essentially gives them control over part of your life. These situations often come with emotional manipulation. The person might suggest that if you trust them, you should be willing to share your information. The real danger isn't just in the immediate access, it's in the potential for future misuse. Even if you trust someone completely, circumstances and relationships can change. Modern cybersecurity experts and ancient Stoic philosophy agree on one thing: maintaining strong boundaries is essential for personal security and peace of mind. The solution is simple but not always easy. Maintain strict control over your personal information, no matter who's asking. Red flag number 6. Let me control this situation. This final red flag might be the most subtle, but it's potentially the most dangerous. It's about people who constantly try to take control of situations that should involve mutual decision-making. The Stoics were very clear about the importance of maintaining our autonomy while respecting others. Any attempt to override someone else's agency was seen as a form of violence against their nature. What makes this request particularly toxic is how it often comes disguised as help or expertise. "Let me handle this," or "I know what's best," are common phrases used to establish control. These people often position themselves as more capable, more experienced, or more qualified to make decisions. They might even have impressive credentials or past successes to point to. The psychological impact of surrendering control is significant. It can lead to decreased confidence in your own judgment and increased dependency on others. What's particularly insidious about this type of request is how it often starts in one area, but gradually expands to others. Someone who controls your financial decisions might start trying to control your social life. The Stoics emphasize the importance of maintaining our own judgment and decision-making capabilities. When we surrender these to others, we're giving up one of our most fundamental human rights. These situations often come with subtle threats or warnings about what might happen if you don't let them take control. They might point to past mistakes or create fear about potential future problems. The real danger isn't just in the loss of control, It's in how it affects your personal growth and development. When someone else is always making decisions for you, you never develop your own judgment. These requests often come from people who have their own insecurities and need for control. Understanding this can help you respond with compassion while still maintaining your boundaries. The modern psychological understanding of autonomy supports what the Stoics knew intuitively. Having control over our own decisions is crucial for health and personal development. The solution is to maintain healthy boundaries while still being open to advice and collaboration. There's a big difference between accepting input and surrendering control. Remember, staying away from people who make these requests doesn't mean you have to be unkind or confrontational. It's about establishing healthy boundaries and maintaining your personal integrity. As the Stoics taught us, true strength lies not in controlling others, but in maintaining control over our own choices and responses. If this video resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that combines ancient wisdom with modern challenges. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, and let me know in the comments about your experiences with these types of requests. Stay strong, stay wise, and I'll see you in the next video.